Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is Rochelle, and in the studio we have Carol and Ricky. And what we're going to do today is talk about the murder of George Floyd. I'm sure everyone knows, they've seen it in the news, YouTube, Facebook, everything like that. And what we're going to do is talk about the incident and how we feel and things of that nature. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in at it. Okay. Carol, say hello.
Hey, everybody.
And then we have Ricky with us.
Hello, everyone.
And we're going to we're going to show a clip of that was on the news. So Ricky's going to go ahead and play that clip. Go ahead.
Today, the chief of police announced their immediate termination.
This situation and tragedy last night, I've been obviously up all night and reviewing the information that I have to make the decision that I'm standing before you today with many of the community leaders behind me. Before involved former employees, I've made that decision this afternoon.
Attorney Benjamin Crump has identified the man who died as George Floyd. Cell phone video shows a white officer with his knee on Floyd's neck as he restrained him. The FBI is looking into the case, and we warn you, the video is tough to watch. Jeff Pegues has the latest from Washington, D.C.
Please, I can't breathe.
This 10-minute video posted to Facebook overnight shows Minneapolis police officers holding down a man. One officer uses his knee to pin the man's neck down.
I can't breathe.
Several times during the arrest, the man tells officers that he's struggling to breathe and begs for some relief.
Please. I can't breathe, officer.
Some people who gathered at the scene try to help.
That's bullshit, bro. That's bullshit, bro.
Please.
You stopping his breathing right there, bro.
But as officers work to keep onlookers back, the man on the ground appears to move less and less. 5 minutes into the video, the man seems to be motionless, and the police officer's knee is still on his neck.
He's not moving.
7 minutes into the video, an ambulance arrives. When an EMT does the first pulse check, officers still have the man pinned. And when he's loaded onto the ambulance, his hands are still cuffed.
Oh, they really just killed that man.
Police explained what led up to the incident in an overnight news conference.
After he got out, he physically resisted officers. Officers were able to get the suspect into handcuffs, and officers noticed that the male was going into medical distress. Officers called for an ambulance. He was transported to Hennepin County Medical Center, where he died a short time later.
Being black in America should not be a death sentence. When you hear someone calling for help, you are supposed to help. This officer failed in the most basic human sense.
This is reminiscent of Eric Garner's very same words, "I can't breathe," uttered as he was dying on the streets of Staten Island, New York in 2014. That phrase became a rallying cry for millions and a nationwide plea to end police brutality. Jeff Pegues, CBS News, Washington.
Wow.
It's disgraceful.
Very. I'm infuriated. I don't even know what to say. I seen the video and I was crying. I couldn't even finish watching it. Even right now, you playing it, I couldn't even look at the screen. I can't.
Yeah.
I just can't. It's too much. Just too much. It's horrible.
I just want to say to George Floyd, I'm sorry, I'm sorry that your fellow civilians watched you die. I can't even imagine myself being in his shoes, crying out for help, and everyone's watching me die. It's sad. It's pathetic. That's our reality in this country right now.
Perhaps this one video being so blatant. I saw the video of, what was his name? Eric Garner.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the video of that when I was looking at stuff, and it's kind of hard to see there. There's a lot of scuffling going on.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard to see what was going on. It
Mm-hmm.
is so. It's so. You, he suffocated because they had his neck, but it's kind of hard to see. This man is laying flat ass on the ground on the pavement with the officer's knee right in his neck. That is so blatant. The man is crying that he can't breathe. It hurts, and then he starts calling mama. And this is pretty blatant here. And this should open up some eyes if they were ever closed before, just to how some of these officers, I know that the officers are always a little more than a little frightened when they go into any situation, no matter what color the person is. I do believe that some of them probably have a little bit more fear of persons of color, but it doesn't, that's not right. It's not right that something like this, we didn't see anything of him presenting when he got out of when they pulled him out of the police car. They didn't show anything of him struggling or anything because we didn't have a video of that. And it was
No.
my understanding that officers always wore body cams. Maybe in Minnesota they can't afford body cams. I don't
Yeah,
know.
where was the body cam? Well,
Yeah, well,
where all four of them were there and got fired. So where is the footage from their body cams?
Oh, y'all already know that we gonna get the edited version of that.
Uh-huh.
They ain't releasing that. They ain't releasing that right now because they ain't got the doctorate yet. That's what they do.
Yeah.
That body cam shit is just it's a farce for transparency in the police department, but they have control over what we get to see from that as well. So
well,
I'm
we got
not
to see
trusting
some.
anything that comes from them.
Mm-mm.
I can understand that in that case. Well,
Yeah.
this is very blatant, and we can certainly see that this man had his neck pressed on by a knee, and there were times that the officer appeared to be moving his leg back and
Right,
forth,
right. Uh-huh.
prying into the. God, it's just
With his
so
big
it's so
fat ass.
raw.
No wonder he suffocated that man. Big old
Yeah.
fat ass with a knee in your throat. Plus what? 250 plus weight of a man? With come on now. And how could he be that scared of that man? You got four officers with you, but
The man was
you're
already
so
handcuffed too.
come on,
And how
dude.
sad the cop kept his knee in the back of that man's neck, even when the gurney got pulled out of the ambulance. Like
I'm glad I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
that's
I'm
yeah, I
glad.
didn't
psychotic.
see that
That is
either. Just like
psychotic.
it said. And they still had the handcuffs on him too when they put him on but I saw somewhere that he was not strapped onto the gurney when they had picked him up and put him on the gurney. I had read that or heard that on another
Because
clip.
he was probably all the way dead.
He
They
probably
knew
was. He probably was.
they were doing it for show. You know how when there's people, family members, when somebody gets shot, stabbed, let's say, for instance, I seen this on a Hispanic guy, and they knew that he was dead, but they did it for the family to make it look like they were trying to revive him, but the man was dead at the scene, but they still
Right.
did it for the sake of doing it,
Yeah.
and they're full of shit. That's all I can say. This has been happening, as far
It's
as I can
happened a lot of
remember.
times. I think it's notable that this particular officer, Chauvin, what is his whole name? Derek Chauvin. He joined the force in 2001, and he already has been involved in at least three other violent incidents.
Mm.
And then in another part that I saw, there were he yeah, there was another one. I guess this was in Minneapolis or in Minnesota. Minnesota. Communities United Against Police Brutality, that group, faulted Chauvin indirectly for the deaths of 3 people who were struck by a car that Chauvin and another officer were chasing in 2005. And he's been shown whether, let's see, the Minneapolis Police Department Office of Police Conduct Complaint Database, just so I get that name right in there, they show 7 complaints against this man.
Mm.
But they also listed those as being closed or non-public, or they resulted in no discipline. So, but still, they're out there. There was some cause that these complaints were lodged against him. So now we just wait and see. Oh, another little thing that I'd seen was that a prisoner at the Minnesota Correctional Facility sued Chauvin and 7 other officers for alleged violations of the federal constitutional rights in 2006. The case was dismissed, and the contents of the complaint are not immediately available. I can guarantee you that all of this, whatever there is out there, it's going to be buried under so much paper that it's going to be a long time before they would ever find out anything more of the history of Chauvin or any of the other officers that are involved in this. And I don't know, unless
it's going to be about a week before they even release the body cams, because they're going to go in, like Ricky said, they're going to go in and doctor that shit up. And then in a week, oh, we went ahead and released the body cam. They're going to fix it to where, it looks like he was, basically resisting, and he deserved to be thrown to the ground. And, come on.
If he was resisting, why was he resisting? There would be a good question.
Why even if he were resisting, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
Even if he were resisting, like as a professional, which LEOs are supposed to be anyway, you shouldn't be entrusted with a sidearm and be allowed to roam the public streets if you're not a professional. If you can't determine when the person you're subduing is submissive and you need to change your behavior, he stayed on full attack mode. Like this guy was actively flailing arms and kicking his legs at him.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But if you can't assess in the moment, like, oh, this guy is obviously, he's subdued. He's got his hands cuffed, and I can let up now. Maybe I can hold him down with my hand.
Right.
There was no reason for him to keep grinding his knee in the back of this man's throat. It was blatant murder. We watched somebody get murdered.
That's pretty much the way
it struck a nerve in me. I don't know.
It strikes
I just want to know how much how much is enough? Winter, and I was speaking to my mom about this earlier. I was like, all you gangsters out there, y'all got guns and stuff. Y'all want to kill each other, and y'all claim to be big and bad, but when shit like this is happening, everybody turns into a little cat, a little kitty, sitting on the sidewalk just watching it happen. Nobody wants to jump. Some of them people there, they were yelling at the cop, but there should have been some grown men around there to run up on that cop and at least get him to stand up. They didn't have to assault the officer, but he could have been wrapped up in the moment. But as civilians, we need to start standing up against stuff like this. It's tyrannical.
It is.
Yeah, if I ever see something like that, I'm gonna be like, look, dude, see,
even if you gotta catch a charge,
right?
I mean,
you might even take a bullet, because when you go into a situation like that with tensions high and he's got somebody on the ground and then you come at him, he's gonna get up. He's gonna get up and he's gonna come at you. And then you could back off, okay, you didn't let up off this man. So, all is good. If I catch a case, oh well, bail and get out, and so be it. But that man wouldn't be dead you could see in that video when the it looked like he was already dead, and then the camera went behind, to show the people on the street. There were people leaving crying, like, they were holding them and walking away just in tears. They couldn't believe that what they saw. I mean, I seen it in video and I was crying earlier, and to be right there, I couldn't have let it go. I would have said something. And if he
Yeah.
would have threw me in, well, so be it, whatever, you know. But that man would be alive. Well, we don't know that for certain either, but
Well, you
Well,
were
see, though.
I'm
Oh, no, go
sorry.
ahead.
You were talking about or referring to tensions being high going into a situation like that, or
mhm,
that one in particular, where tensions are high.
mhm,
I did not see any high tensions. What I saw was the police are standing, the ones that were standing on the side trying to
mhm.
get people. Well, the guy with his knee on his neck, he's just casually like he's kneeling on a log, and he's just just looking, And then I heard him say to the on the video, I heard him speaking, and he was saying, "Oh, you're resisting arrest, or you think you're, I know they think you're tough guy, or so, I don't know." Just like probing, excuse me, poking at him, trying to get a rise out of him. I didn't see any fear in that officer's face at all. He was just about as relaxed as he could go.
But you know
And
what?
damn good and well, he had that man under control. He was
Mhm,
in handcuffs, and he had him down there with his neck,
mhm.
killing the man as he was laying there. And he,
Well, what I'm referring to is the fact that I say tensions were high, because if somebody would have came at that officer while he had that man on the ground, he would have came up and he probably would have pulled out his gun. There ain't
that
no
is
way,
probably very true.
and he's gonna react because he's gonna see, people going towards him, and then his other officer people, whoever friends, whatever they are, uh, were there. So it could even got worse if they went and said, hey, you need to chill or whatever, like they did in the background. Did you hear that person said, dude, he can't breathe, man, da, da, da,
Yeah,
da. If there
exactly.
was enough people that went
Yeah,
at that man and said, look, you need to stop. You're killing this dude. And somebody should have stood up. And there was two people. I can't say that there was nobody that, went up, tried to get in, intervene, but it was a woman that tried to intervene
yeah, I
first.
saw that.
How funny was that? And then there followed a guy.
And
Well,
that
who the hell was recording this shit?
to that Asian officer that was the Asian male officer who was blocking the civilians from seeing what was happening
Mhm,
while he knew his partner was
He was
killing that
trying.
man.
He
mhm.
was
You
trying to
ain't
do
shit.
that.
You are a bitch. I hope you get caught in the street, man. You just as guilty as the person who killed him. I don't know how y'all can go home and act like you did anything, any service or duty to your city, doing some shit like that. Like, did you think you was gonna walk away from that? And even if civilians came and they stood up and they subdued the officers themselves, like citizens arrest, they would have got away with it because those officers ended up being negligent. So that's what I'm saying. In that instance, that's when we gotta stand up for what's right.
Mhm.
Don't I mean you might not get shot. Don't worry about the charge because you know the officer's wrong. That officer should know there's going to be some consequences if he's acting that way,
Mhm.
or if he's obviously being a brute, using brute force when it's unnecessary. That
Exactly.
there's going to be some repercussions. That's the way it needs to be because
I
they're just
mean,
blatantly out here killing people now.
Well, they fired him quick, fast, and in a hurry, didn't they? Less than what, 24 hours? They
Oh,
fired him.
he probably get a job somewhere else working as a sheriff.
That's
That's how
somewhere
they do
working
it.
he'll be working as a rent-a-cop somewhere with no gun. That's for sure. He'll be guarding the Taco Bell. That's what he'll be
I'm just
doing.
wondering, and I'm just sitting here and wondering how this will be spun.
Well,
Because,
you already know they're going to try to sympathize with the police officers,
Mm-hmm.
especially
yes,
the Blue Lives Matter fanatics.
well,
Even though no cops died during this, they're going to be out there.
No, none died. None were harmed. You know, the only one that was harmed was George Floyd laying on that ground, dying. I just can't. Oh,
Mm-mm-mm.
I just can't get past that.
I just seen a clip. I'm sorry to say, but he peed himself. My girlfriend just showed me a clip, and that man still had his knee in that man's neck when he knew he was dead. He died, and there was urine running all around the back of the
That,
car.
yep. Didn't
that's
I
Clear
just
that's
say
what
that?
sign
happened.
that you just killed the person. And
Well,
he
that's what I
still had his
said.
knee on the back with his hand on his hip, like what?
Yeah.
Just blatant
When you're
disrespect.
dead, and he panicked, you know, you're gonna lose all your bodily functions, so you're gonna shit or piss. You know what I mean, on yourself, and that's what I pointed out. I said, looks like he already peed on itself
Yeah,
because he's
Yeah,
all
he
the
did.
probably
muscle, all
gone.
the internal muscles just leave go
Mm-hmm.
He
when you
wasn't
die.
moving. He wasn't fighting, talking. They
No, he
still,
wasn't.
they still was yoking him up with that knee.
Mm.
Like I just want to know what the hell that cop was doing behind him. What that needed that his other officer to keep a knee in his neck. Like you already put cuffs on him. What the hell are you still doing with him on the ground like that? Usually you see them pick the guy right up after he's
Mm-hmm.
been cuffed. What is he gonna do? He ain't Bruce Lee. Like he's not gonna slip the cuffs and start whooping your ass. There's four of you. If
Yes.
you're that much of a coward, then you need to quit. Throw your fucking gun down. Throw your badge. Give it back to your motherfucking captain, and take your sorry ass and go be a security somewhere because you're a bitch.
Mm.
If you fear a cuffed man, you're a bitch, and you need to put your fucking gun and your badge away and go work as fucking mall cop or something. Because it's getting a little out of hand, and it's all these coward ass motherfuckers that like to flex their power, and they end up killing somebody and expecting people to sympathize with them. Fuck that.
Nobody's sympathizing with them. They
We gotta start eliminating that.
We got to get some sort of way, some way, because I mean they're doing what, the rally, the what do you call it, the march type deal.
I
Uh,
saw that they were forming like a line that they were going to
mm-hmm,
march toward the police department.
mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
I saw that.
black people, y'all gotta stop. We gotta stop protesting, man. They ain't gonna do shit.
It won't do anything,
Throw them
and
damn signs
all it
down.
does
Nobody reading your sign, bro.
all it
Trust me,
does is just
they're
make
not.
everybody mad when they protest. And then there's always those protesters that turn into looters, and then you get riots, and then
Then you get
it
the
just
police
goes
on the street.
on and
You get
on, and
the
it's
police on the
ridiculous.
street. You get the police on the street with all their gear, riot gear, and
That's
they
right.
start popping off shots, and then more people are going to get killed, and they're going to say, "Oh, well, they were aggressive. They were doing this and that," and you know, it's just
Nothing will ever be settled if it takes that venue.
yeah.
Yeah, and please don't riot. Don't riot. Don't
Yes,
even.
please.
I support the movement and stuff, but I don't support dumb shit. I don't care what color
Absolutely.
you are. If you out there breaking in stores and shit, fuck that. Focus that energy on getting back or getting that justice that everybody's looking for and doing something meaningful. Don't start destroying property. You're just shitting on that man's name. His death had nothing
Absolutely.
to do with that. Don't take it out on the businesses around you. You need to go march ass down that police department and demand that more be done. I don't know. Go to the city, start making real moves. Don't get locked up. What the hell is
Absolutely.
that gonna do?
Right. Go down to that city hall and tell them, show them videos, tell them what the police is out there doing, you know, and say something. We want to see that video, that body cam. We want to see it. You know, go down there and
Yeah, let's get that video right away
right.
before they can edit it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We'll see it. Watch. It'll be a few days on down the line, and they'll say, "Oh, well, they just released it," and yada ying yada yada. They fired the men. When they fired the men, they have the camera, right? He had to turn in his damn camera.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't understand why we gotta wait to see what happened, and then when we see it, it's just gonna stir up all kinds of other you know, angry feelings, sad,
Yeah.
angry, because it's gonna be up close and personal. It's gonna be hard to watch. It
Let
really.
me ask you guys this: what do you think is a formal or an acceptable form of punishment against an officer that
For
does
what
something like that?
for what he did,
Yeah,
or
for murder, like what he did, like being
mm,
completely reckless and it resulting in the death of the suspect.
his I would he would have been arrested immediately. He would have been fired as well, but then he would have been put into cuffs and he would have been booked just like any other person. Went down the line, somebody gonna get his ass. Maybe, maybe not today, maybe not in a week, maybe not in a month, but he's gonna have to deal with somebody, and I don't think that this is gonna turn out very well for him in the end. But he would have had to do hard time. He would have got arrested. He would have got his little lawyer. It wouldn't have been no department lawyer. I would tell that man, you cut off. Get your own lawyer. So
Yep.
he got his little free, defense lawyer, whatever, and he would have tried. Nah, you ain't getting no bail. You ain't getting nothing. You gonna go to trial just like, and then let the family sue him in a civil suit, and he got to pay up for that. I don't know how you gonna do that because he probably broke as a joke, but
Hmm.
he would go to
Police
jail.
department's not.
No, the department, I wouldn't be behind him one bit,
They
not
should.
one
They
bit.
should be. They should be sued
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
They should.
because the evidence is showing that there have been other complaints lodged against this particular officer and other ones. He's the only one that's named, but there are other officers. So apparently, whatever this precinct is where he and his buddios are working,
Mm-hmm.
they got some problems there.
Yeah, especially
Seriously.
they're going to get sued because they know, just like Carol said, they knew that this guy had 7 prior dealings with people and he was a little, too aggressive. So the police department are going to be held responsible for that as well because they should have had a handle on that. 7 times, Jiminy Cricket, I think he needed to be let go a long time ago. But no,
Yeah.
the man put on his badge every day, gun in his belt and his holster, and gave him a car, and he just cruising the streets looking for somebody to fuck with. That's it. What
It's
would you
real.
do,
Yeah.
Carol?
I'm
What would you
sorry.
what would
Oh,
you give the officer, like, what would be a
oh.
good thing? Not necessarily a good thing, but what would you do with him?
Well, I kind of look at it on two sides, and it's hard to write a defense there because the man killed that man. There's just, I can't see any other way, no matter how they spin it. The man killed him. And I didn't see fear in the officer's eyes. As far as I could determine, he needs to be arrested. He needs to be turned over to the courts, and he needs to be tried like any other murderer.
Mm-hmm.
He could get, oh, I don't know, I guess he could plea like they sometimes do, and they get some time off, or maybe he could turn in other cops that are dirty like that,
Mm-hmm.
complicit in it. And if he went to jail, well, that's going to be a real fun time because there are going to be other criminals there, and They always believed that there was a code among criminals that you put the criminals in there and you come in as a criminal. I
Mm-hmm.
think you have a life expectancy of not very long,
Yeah, they'll be in
or
protective custody as
at
soon as
least
they
they're going
come
to
in.
fuck him up. That's what I'm thinking. But I they could put him in a like a white collar crime penitentiary, which even at that, no matter he wouldn't get death if excuse me. Depends on if you believe in if you support capital punishment or not, and I don't know. Most people don't. So he killed a man. He's being tried. He goes to prison for. He's up for parole. Maybe he gets 20 years, whatever. He gets up for parole in 7 years if his butt can handle the rest of his treatment. And what is that? Is that's worth a man's life? That's punishment.
No, for extreme circumstances like this, there shouldn't be no plea deals on the table. There
But that's
shouldn't be
the way
any.
that's the way the courts do it. That's the way the attorneys do it. It's all a game. And I really have very little support or very little appreciation of attorneys. I worked for attorneys for many, many years, and they had a code of honor back then. Now, not so much. And I don't have a whole lot of trust, nor do I care too much about them. But I don't know. To slap the man on the wrist and just let him go, that's not right either. He needs some kind of just uh, judgment, judgment in the law system, if it's possible. I don't have much faith in the courts either.
No, I don't either. But they need to fix that. That's absolutely.
Along with many, many, many other things, it's
Mm-hmm.
just a
Yeah.
giant cesspool. The whole legal system is it just makes me think of a big cesspool. But nevertheless, this man, I don't know.
Police
I don't
departments need to stop supporting it. They need to
that they
stop
do.
making
They
excuses for it.
exactly.
Be very rule with an iron fist when it comes to LEOs because they have too big of a responsibility in society to be
I
playing with
totally
it
agree.
like, oh, I messed up an order, I'm fired. No, you
Mm-hmm.
just like took somebody's life. You committed murder. I don't think they should be above the law.
No.
No, they get to be tried just like the next man that commits a murder. You don't give them no bail because it was what do they call that? Extenuating circumstances.
Hmm.
You don't get no bail. You're not going to no cushy ass prison or minimum security. You going in there with the other murderers. You gonna be in the max, right with the rest of them. He's not getting no help from the department. Don't get nothing. He's got to get his own lawyers, and because the police department gonna get sued.
Yep.
Who knows that ain't gonna happen? That's gonna happen.
This is what we're paying taxes for.
Yeah.
Fucking cops that don't even listen to us. They're just doing whatever the hell they want. That don't even respect us, and they're killing us in the street. And then they're saying, "Oh, well, you just have to accept whatever we do with the officer."
Hmm. But
We're
the
we're a
first
little more
officer,
special than y'all. When we mess up, we get a slap on the wrist. But y'all, oh, we gonna throw you in the cell and throw away the key. You know
right,
what I'm saying?
right.
Mhm.
But did you see on that video the first officer that had the mask on? It said I think his tag said something Elderman or Eldeer or something like that. He was saying he was giving a briefing and he didn't say anything. And he just made it sound like it was no big deal. This is what happened. This is why he was killed. You have to replay that clip. And when you see him, the first officer, not the very first one, but the first one that made he basically came out and gave a statement, and he's got his little name tag, and you can see it, and you can hear what he says, and it was just like nothing was any different than any other day catching somebody.
Mm,
Yeah, but
Yeah, they're gonna try to say what happened before the recording was that put the officer in that mode. The sympathizers. They're gonna find something like Carol was saying. They're gonna spin it. They're gonna say he had this and this on his record,
mm-hmm.
which
yes.
shouldn't matter because you don't. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't matter. You treat everyone innocent until proven guilty.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know who the person is. You should. There's just this whole incident is messed up. So
And it's so sad. It just tore me up. I just uh mm,
Well, a week from now, we'll know a little bit more,
well, those are
or
some of
we'll
my
know
thoughts.
less. Yeah, we'll get a little bit of spin, whatever they're going to spin, and they will.
yeah.
So we'll hear more about that.
Yeah, that's oh so unfortunate. I have boys, so it just tears my heart up
Oh, I know.
that they would treat them like that when he's calling for his mama. I don't know. It's not right.
That's
Yeah.
pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Blessings to that man and his family. I'm
Mm,
sorry. That's all I can say. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that
yes, I'm sorry it happened. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry we failed. We failed him because somebody could have intervened. Somebody could have got his attention off of him so he could breathe. That's all he needed was to gather his breath, get air. I just pray for them, and it's going to be hard for them to get over this, if they ever do.
just
Mhm.
let the people know y'all got to start standing up, man. Please don't let me see another man just get killed on camera because everyone around was too scared to stand up and do what's right. It ain't about breaking the law or committing murder yourself, but you know what's wrong and you know what's right.
Yeah,
That should not happen. I'm sorry, but
but yeah, he deserves no help. No help nowhere. Just because you were a cop, that's over with. They fired you, you get nothing. You get no pension, you get nothing. But shit, you're about to feel it. You're about
If
to
that would, if that sort of punishment, or if you know that if you keep, okay, what am I? I've got the thoughts going here. If I just get them into the words, you know that that's what's going to happen to you if you do this brutality like you are, and we're seeing it over and over. What's going to, what's going to happen? You do this, you do this sort of thing, and oh, you lose your job, but that ain't all. Yes, you lose your pension, you lose references, you lose the whole shamoli. And
Mhm.
that would be any kind of an incentive for them not to behave like beasts. I don't know.
This is just ridiculous. And it just feels to me like it's not going to stop. I don't see, I don't see
exactly,
it
it's not going to
coming.
stop.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. I really don't. Even if it would have been a white man, that he would have,
Anybody,
yeah,
anybody.
any color, it would have been, we would have
Yeah,
been the same angry, just as angry that they had that man down on that ground
I'm
like that.
sorry, as as a white person here, I am so sorry that there has been brutality, and it's sheer and it's obvious brutality, and I'm so sorry to see this sort of stuff that just seems to focus in on black people or people of color. There was another one, I think, of this same officer, the Chauvin. There was another one where it was an American Indian, or what, Native American, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. And it's the same way for the Hispanics. Well, I'm part Hispanic myself. I don't look like it, but I am. But just color doesn't have anything. I wasn't raised knowing what color was, and why should anybody be raised knowing what color? And I know it is. I know it's out there, and I'm so, so sorry that it
Well,
is.
if you don't participate in the fuckery, I don't think you should have anything to apologize for. You know, like you were saying, it's not a color thing at all. I'm speaking from a humanity standpoint, and
Mm-hmm.
It is humanity, but that's the way that it seems like it's turned. Mm,
well, yeah, we know
they
that
seem to
blacks are
twist the
targeted,
law.
but
They seem to twist the law to take advantage of people of color, no matter what color they are. They take that advantage to do it.
like
And
Rochelle was saying, regardless of what color the victim was, I think we
absolutely.
can all put ourselves in that man's shoes. No
Mm-hmm.
matter what color you are, white, yellow, purple, green, orange, Donald Trump, no, I'm just kidding. No, but really though, no matter what color you are, you can put yourself in that man's shoes. If that was happening to you, how would you feel? And for all the sympathizers for police, like
Mm,
it could easily be you. Like I'm not saying police aren't, we shouldn't support them, but I mean in these instances you got to admit when something's wrong.
And I don't
That's
support
why
them
things
during
doesn't
this.
things don't change
the
in this
police
country.
departments need to wake up and check out your people.
Yep.
Yep.
All of them. Any of your police departments. Wake up. You got
Yep.
people in there that are on the take. You've got dirty people. You've got cruel people. You've got bullies. And we're all about bullies. But it's time to wake up and see what's in there. Clean out your damn departments.
Right. Clean
Make
it
sure
out.
that your people know the laws
Yeah.
and know that what is the difference of physical force and physical restraint. You need to know the difference. And it seems as if your police people are not.
Well, you
And
know what?
if they're going into episodes or happenings where they're scared and all this, then that needs to be dealt with too.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to learn how to go into circumstances without getting just the fear overtaking them to where they become monsters.
Well, you know one thing that they should do, the police department, you know how in a job they give you warnings, right? You do something wrong, you get a warning, then you get a second warning, then your third, you're either or you're suspended, terminated, or suspended. Well, the police, they should be held to a higher standard. After one incident, they need to be put on leave, non-paid leave, or something, because they are held to a higher standard. They're able
Absolutely.
to hurt
They
people.
are.
They have a gun versus somebody working in an office or whatever, getting their little write-ups. No, after one incident, they need to be dealt with,
Mm-hmm.
because he'd have been fired after 7 instances. He should have been fired and said, hey, you need to see, what do they give them? Psychological,
Counseling of some
yes,
kind.
don't they, just to see if they're stable enough to even carry a gun? You know what I mean? Like, something's wrong with this man.
Yeah, 7 is too high of a number.
Yep.
Too many red flags.
Jeez. Yeah.
I like that number, but I'm saying 7 is too damn much. Most people are lucky to even get 2 warnings before they get fired from their
Exactly.
job.
Yeah.
So, like you said, the precinct was negligent.
So they're
And
Very
gonna
much.
they
they're gonna
definitely
get
need
it.
to pay as well.
Yeah, they
Oh, they should
will,
be slapped.
and they are going to.
I
And
should
I
hope
would
so.
hope that the family, I would hope that the family would not accept any kind of, you know, settlement offer that they may offer you. Take it to the bank.
Absolutely.
Take
Yep,
it
take it
It's
to
all the
not
tell
way.
them
about
no
the
thank
money.
you.
It's
No
not
thank
about
you.
the money. The money
Yeah.
will be there, but it isn't about the money.
No.
Um, even if you're not, even if you think you're going to get lots of money, you're not going to get that much money out of it. There's a lot
Exactly.
of other things that come into play there. So, but
Exactly.
you want to take the police department to the wall, the whole thing, you take them to the wall and you nail them just because you're a citizen and you can. And there need to be set an example.
Yep, the devil's
Right.
gonna come to you with shiny trinkets and hope you're gonna
Mm.
jump at the
Oh
first
boy, I
sight.
hate her.
He gonna offer you a little bit of coin, and if you jump for it, shame on you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
don't
do it. Do
Don't even
not
do it.
do it. Let it ride. Take it all the way to the bank.
absolutely.
You could end up owning that precinct. And so
Well,
just hang in there. You know, that little bit of money, you know, it may not even come. You know, they award you the money and they file bankruptcy and you're screwed. So just take
there's
it
so
all the
many
way to the
things
bank.
that come into play and blah blah blah.
They
I
need to be
know. I get
made.
that. I've seen it.
They
So
need to pay, not
absolutely,
just money wise. They need to pay. They
it's
really
setting
do.
a precedence, and
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see this sort of thing come down as a precedence that is set in that is printed in the law books. That this is something that they would refer to. I'd like to see a lot of dust stirred up with this.
Mm-hmm. Me too. Me too. Well, we all just wanted to weigh in on this, and we do send our prayers to the family, and we'll be thinking of them. And
Definitely.
yeah, you know, we hope that you could get through this time. It's going to be rough, and you know, there'll be times when you hate the world, but just remember to pray for peace, and
Mhm.
your son, your brother, your uncle, you know, unfortunately,
Remember that it's in peace. It's not in anger or retaliation.
mhm,
God is love. You've got God on your side if you keep love in your heart. This
mhm,
has been a terrible thing. No way to go around it. But
mm-mm.
stay strong and let the Lord fight for you. He
Yeah,
will.
yes, he will. Just keep your faith and pray. Just pray all day long, all night long, whenever you
There's a lot of
can.
people that'll be praying with you too, family. There's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Me.
Do you have any questions that you think your viewers would um, like to answer?
Um,
We
that's
want all your comments. Any comments and anything that you have. We want to hear from you.
I'd like to know what they think about the
Yes.
form of punishment against an officer
Yes, I think that would be very good.
that commits murder, as
Mhm.
we've seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I would like to know that as well and see what I want to get what people think of this situation in every race. I want to hear from the Native Americans. I want to hear from the Caucasians. I want to hear from the Mexicans. I want to see what their side, what they actually think of this and what their take is on it. If they think it was justified, if they think, you know, hell no. If they think like us or, you know, I want to see what people are thinking about
Yes.
this and what people want to
Yeah, and
do.
don't sit back like, oh, it wasn't one of mine. He was black. I'm Mexican. Don't do that because
Tomorrow
you
it
need to
could
be
be
looking
your
at it
ass.
as it's one of your countrymen. That's what's important here. This is our country, and we're supposed to be making sure that it's ran right.
And
And
it
when it's
could have
not, we need
been one of
to, like I
them.
said, we need to stand up.
Yeah.
Remember, y'all, we all bleed red.
Yeah.
I was
We
going to
sure
cut
do.
myself to make a good impression there, and have blood coming out. And I thought, no, maybe not.
Hey, I already have a cut. I put that up there. No, but no, this isn't a laughing matter,
No, it is not.
but
But
I'm
please
just really
excuse this.
sad. I'm really
It's so
sad.
terrible.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It really is. But I'm gonna hold hope.
Yes.
Um, I'm gonna hold hope that they're gonna handle this the way they should, and this man get taken care of, just like any other murder on the street.
And
Yeah.
that
Amen to that.
George Floyd has justice.
Yes. Amen to that. Bless his heart. All right, y'all. Well, we want to hear from you all. So give us your feedback. You go on the Anchor and you could give me a voice message and I'll listen to it. And then we will add it to a QCNR questions, comments, and answers, or reactions, sorry. And we want to hear from you in this because I'm sure it's infuriated all of us. But I just would like to hear from you guys. And remember, you can listen to us on Anchor, Podbean, SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. And just make sure to give us your comments. We look forward to them. Thank you all for listening.
Thanks so much, y'all. Take care.
See you soon.